wonder you got that big ass knife, because you can spread the jelly all over throughout. That's what's up, y'all. I heard you make the bomb peanut butter jelly sandwiches too. Oh, hold up. Jet! I don't fuck with Jet. Yo, I told you about that Skippy, son. You garbage. I don't even know why I'm playing. Y'all, this dirty ass knife. Yo, you was spreading jelly on the shit and everything. What the? Oh!
Alright, we're going to make an Among Us character today, and it's going to be pretty easy. I'm not going to add any bones for the character's body or anything like that. We're just going to use some reference layers. So I'm going to start off. Oh, and by the way, if you want to see what I'm pressing, just look at this thing right here. It's my keyboard capture. What keyboards or keys I'm pressing as I go. I'll try and say what I'm doing though at the same time. So the first thing is I'm going to grab some reference pictures. So I went to this site called Spriters Resource, the Spriters Resource, and they just basically have a lot of sprite sheets or game art from old school video games. So, well, and newer ones too, but these are just artwork assets. So I went ahead and typed in Among Us, and it brought me to this page. And I just downloaded, there's a lot of fan art in here too, which is awesome. But this looks like it's from the game or pretty close to it. So I just downloaded, it's called Player Base New Version. And it gave me a folder with a whole bunch of different little pieces of artwork. So I'm going to go to File, Import, Image. And I'll go ahead and find a picture of the character just standing there, idle. Open that up, make him a little bit bigger, and then I'll select my vector layer. I'm going to drag it on top, and I'm just going to rename this body. And to trace this character or redraw him, I'm just going to hit S, which is Draw Shape, or the Draw Shape tool right here. And I'm going to uncheck autofill and auto stroke because I just want to draw the lines. I don't want to color anything yet. So with that selected, I will drag and drop a square. I'll hit A, and that's going to add points. So I can just click and drag. And all I'm doing is doing a basic outline. Adding points. Hitting T so I can grab individual points. And then C to curve out these points here like that. I'll hit S, draw shape. I'll draw his backpack, and I'll hit C, curve those out. Hit T, move the points a little bit. Not worried about that part because it'll be hidden. Hit S again, draw shape. Draw his visor, hit C, curve all of those out. Hit T to kind of adjust him a little bit. And there's a little line here down by his waist, so I'm going to hit A to add points and draw a couple more points here. Like that. Hit C. Oops. Curve points out. And there we go. We have the basic shape of the character. I'll go ahead and hit Command A, grab all the points, and hit T. I'm going to move it to the side, so we've got this really simple character right here. Now I'm going to color him real quick. So I'm going to color the backpack first, so it's in the very back of the character. And I'm going to hit U, which is Create Shape Tools right here. And if I click on the backpack, you'll notice it just has a red line. That's because stroke is the only thing selected, so it's only going to do a stroke. But I want to have it fill too. So I'll click both, and it'll turn checkered like this. So it's going to fill with orange. You can see right here. And black is going to be the stroke color or the outline color. So once it's selected, I'll hit Create Shape. And it does that. I'll go ahead and select the body. And I'm going to hold down Shift and select that little line right by his waist. So it makes a little stroke color there. And hit Create Shape. And then I'll select the visor. I want it to be blue, so I'll select that and hit Create Shape. And I'm going to hit Command A and grab all the points, and then hit W and left click and drag to the right so I can make the lines thicker. So it looks more like this picture. like that. I'll hit T, grab this 1 point, and hit W, and then make that super thin, make the second one thinner, and maybe even this one thin too. I'll hit C and curve this out too, and kind of hit T and readjust these points a bit, just so it looks a little bit more like our guy over here. There we go. Now I'm going to add shading and I'm going to go ahead and select black for the fill color, but I'm going to turn the opacity down so you can see through it. Okay, probably about to 50 or so. Somewhere around there. We'll see how that looks. Hit OK, and I'm also going to, when I do a draw shape, I want just the fill on. I don't want the stroke. So if I drag and drop, you can see it just makes kind of a shadow. So I'm going to draw a little bit of a square here, and I'm hitting A, and I'm just going to move these points. And I'm moving them over the stroke where you can't see them. And do that. Do this kind of fast. And where's that? Okay. Move this over the backpack. And you can see I'm kind of putting the shadow edges over the stroke because you're not going to be able to see them, so it just makes it a lot easier to throw this stuff on here like that. I'll hit S again, draw a little square here, hit T. A is adding points. C is curving them out. Hiding the edges over the outline. I'll hit S again. Draw a little shape here, hit Q, and it's going to select the color. What is that called? Select shape. And select the fill. I'm going to turn it white and make it almost solid. Not quite. So we've got that little reflection in there. And add some more points. I'll click T and then in the center of the shape, and it'll select all the points it's connected to, and then I'll curve those out. There we go. So now we've got our little Among Us character. And actually, I'm going to rename this idle. So standing still. Then we're just going to make a few more, few frames of him or her running. So let's go ahead and delete this reference layer. I'm going to select the set the origin point. I'm going to put it down by his feet real quick, and then move the layer over here. Set origin point just means where it's going to rotate. So now you can see if I grab him and rotate him, or I squash and stretch him, it goes from that point. That's all that is. Okay. Alright, so now that we've got our character idle, I'm going to put him in a switch layer because we're going to make a different set of frame-by-frame animation, basically. So we'll do switch layer. We'll call this positions. And idles in there. And then we're going to grab a couple more frames from that folder, the artwork that we got from Spriter's resource. So import image. And I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to be holding down, I think it's Command. Let me find those pictures. And let's see. So we need this picture. Let me hold down Command. So he's going up, and then he lands, and then he goes up again, and then he lands like that. So we're going to grab those 4 pictures, and like I said, I'm holding Command down to grab all 4. Hit open. It should open all 4 of them. There they are. I'm gonna hold shift down and grab all 4 of those pictures. Scale them up to, to the size they need to be. Let me. That's maybe a little bit bigger. Oops. Does that look about right? Yeah, that looks good. I need to make a shadow too. That's going to make it easier to place the character. Where's one where he's... Okay, there's one where he's landing. Right about there. So let me make a new vector shadow. Oops. Shadow. What's going on here? Shadow. Can't type. Okay. Put that at the very bottom. I'll hit S for create shape. Use the oval tool. Select black. Turn the opacity down. And just autofill. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that's good. So we'll use that shadow as kind of a reference. So I want to draw these shapes, or I mean these poses. So we'll start, let's rearrange this. This is one, this actually be the second one, and the third one. Okay, so we'll start off with this one. And to do this, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the positions idle and just duplicate that. And call it run 1. Like that. I'll select the reference picture. I'm going to move it over. Actually, let's line up the shadow. Move it over. And then run 1 will select it. I'll hit Command A to select everything and move him up. And then we're going to just change the body position a little bit. So I'll grab the leg here. I'm going to hit T and grab the shadow real quick and just move it to the side. So I can focus on... Oops. Undo a couple times. To grab the shadow, I just clicked inside of it after I hit T. Selects all the points connected to it, and then just... I'm holding shift down and dragging it to the left, just so it stays horizontal position, in this horizontal position. Now I can hit A and add some more points, so I can make this leg look like this. A little more. Hit C to curve. It out some. It's looking pretty close. I'm going to hit T and grab this point and hit delete a couple times because the leg is kind of behind. Not kind of, it is behind the body, so I'm gonna do that. Move these points a little bit. Hit C to curve it out. And I'll go ahead and hit Q, select this orange color, and then hit copy just to make sure that it's got it. And I'll hit S and do a new shape. Oops, with the stroke turned on. And I'll use a square. Do that, hit Q. Now when I hit Q and select the color, I can hit the down arrow to make it go behind other shapes. So now it's behind the body. I hit T, kind of move it into place. Move these points some. Hit T, grab all the points, hit W, make the line thicker. Hit C and curve out these points some. That looks pretty good. I'll hit T, grab that shadow, move it over. And then I'll hit T and move some of these points and add some too. Just so it's covering the character. And there we go. So we've got run 1, I'm literally going to just duplicate this. And it's going to call a run to, and I'll hit return. I'm going to hit Command A, grab everything, hit T, and just move them up a little bit. So he's a little bit higher. And then, so it's going to cycle. It's going to go there, then he's going to go up a little bit, and then he's going to come back down. And then we're going to make the next pose. So we'll turn on this one where he's landing. We'll take run 2, duplicate that, hit return because it's going to call run 3. Let's select our reference picture and move it over. Let's go ahead and select run 3 and grab everything, move him back down. Maybe squish him a little bit because he's landing. I'm going to move the shadow again, so I'll hit T, click on the shadow, move it over. I'll hit T and I'll just adjust these points a little bit that are on this back leg. Like that. Move some points on this front leg. Looks like he's landing-ish. It's not bad. Close enough. Maybe move this over a little bit. Probably shouldn't spend too much time on this. I know you guys might be like, well, get on with it. Hit T, grab the shadow, move it back. Hit T again. Oops. Grab these shadow parts. Move them over the outline. Again, just makes it easier to hide the edges of the shadow. Like that. Yeah, it looks good. So there he's landing. And then we'll do the next one. So let's duplicate that. It's called run 4. Hit return. There he is popping up. Let's grab that reference layer, move the shadow into place so we know how to make him. Move him over. And I'll select run 4. Stretch him back out. Move him up. About there. There we go. Hit T. Move this shadow out of the way. I'll just move this leg back here. And then I'll just hit T and kind of readjust some of these points since I already got them. Do that. Let's move. Yeah. Like that. I'm going to hit C and uncurve that one. Like that. Maybe delete it. Yeah, that's good. Oops. Come on. That's close. This back leg, I'll hit Q and select the backpack and tap the down arrow a few times so it's behind everything. And we'll move this leg to look kind of like the reference photo, which kind of looks like that. Yeah, that looks good-ish. Not get too crazy with it. Let's move the shadow back into place. Hit T and just move the shadow over the legs and the bottom. We can fix any of it later, but that looks good. Those run 4, I'll duplicate it. Hit return, Command A. I'm just gonna grab him and move him up a little bit. So then we got that, and he's gonna back down. And then we have one more position to do, so we'll turn on that. Let's do run 5. Duplicate that. Hit return. Select our reference. Hit T. Move it over. All right, let's make sure it's shadows in the same place. There we go. Select everything. Move them down. Squish them a little bit. From the impact, hit T. Grab the shadow. Move it over. And I'm just going to grab this leg and move it a little bit. Oops. Grab the backpack, move that up. And this leg looks like it's kind of in the center, so I'm just going to hit T and kind of move these points over here. Right about there. Oh, he's looking a little wonky. Let's delete a couple points. And uncurve some stuff. Just make it look a little bit better. Yeah, it looks good. Hit T, grab the shadow, move it over. Hit T, grab some of these points and just move them over the stroke again. Just to hide them. And there we go. All right, so we've got 6 positions for the run. Let's go ahead and put them in their own switch layer. So create a new switch layer. Call this run. And I'll grab 1 through 6. Throw them in that folder. I'm gonna reorganize them so it's 1 to 2 to 3 going top to bottom, just to keep it organized. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna go ahead and just animate this run, and I'll show you why. I'm gonna animate it, and then we can use a bone layer or just use the switch layer itself to go between idle and running. I'll go ahead and select all of those reference layers and just delete them, because now we just need the run. So I'm going to go to frame 1. I'll select run 1, and it's going to put a keyframe there. I'll go forward 3 frames. I'll just use the arrow key. 1, 2, 3. Now I'll select run 2. And he goes up a little bit. 1, 2, 3 forward. Then I'm going to go back to run 1. So it goes back down. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go to, is it run 3? Yeah, so he lands there. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go to run 4. It goes up. 1, 2, 3. Goes up a little with run 5. 1, 2, 3. I do 3. Oops. Go back to 4. Nope. Didn't do 3. Move that over. 1, 2, 3. And then he lands on a 6. And then let's go for it. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go back to 1. But I'm going to right click on that and say cycle. And then I'm going to go to relative and change this to 22. Oops. Like that. So it doesn't, I think it should look okay. There we go. Now we got our guy running. So the reason I put the switch layers inside of the switch layers is if I want to, let's say we start off the animation with idle. So our character is standing here, blah, 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 he's talking or, you know, doing whatever, and then you want him to start running. You can just right click and say run, and he'll just start running. Like that. And if I want him to stop, I'll just change this back to idle, and he'll stop. And that's it. super easy. You could even do it to where you have a smart bone controlling the running and stopping. So let me go back again. Let's delete this. So let's say we'll create a bone layer. And we'll just call this controls. And we'll drag the switch layers into it, the positions. I'll go to controls. I'll hit A to add a bone. Draw it straight up. Turn the strength down. Hit B. We'll call or rename it control. And turn on the label, color it just so we can see. So what we can do is create a really simple action to go from one to the other. So I'll go to Window, Actions, New, and we'll call this, I don't know, Body Positions. Like that. And with the bones sticking up, we can right click on our switch layers and say idle. So we want it to be idle, and then if we turn it, like go to frame 12, and then on the bone layer I'll hit T and rotate this to the right. Let's actually, I'm gonna do a step, and then when it gets to 12, the reason I did step is so you see how it slowly moves from one position to the other. I want to just snap to the next position. So I'll do step, and then when it gets to 12, I want it to switch to running. Okay, so let's go back in the timeline to see if I set that up right. So if I'm in the timeline, I have the bone here, and then I say I want him to run on frame 60. I'll hit T and rotate this, and as soon as it gets to... No, it's doing it beforehand. When does it start? Maybe I need to put the step in the main timeline. So I'll click on the rotation, I'll select these keyframes, select step, and then turn it. I think maybe that's what I need to do. And say, yeah. So now you can see when I play it on frame 60, it starts running. If I want him to stop, I can just hit T, rotate that back, and it stops. And that's it. As far as the Among Us characters, there's not really a whole lot else that you can do. You could make, let's say, another set of switch layers. Like I can make a new hand, because that's all they have are hands and stuff like that. So hand 1. So I can come in here and start drawing hand, hit A, add some points. Like have the character pointing or whatever. And make switch layers to animate different death scenes, or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty simple. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.